When two office pranksters decided to set their coworker up on a blind date, they thought they'd created the perfect humiliation. They picked a struggling single father and a woman they secretly mocked behind her back, pairing them together just for a laugh. They grabbed a corner table, phones out, ready to record every second of the disaster they were sure was coming. Awkward silence, rejection, and a story they could milk for months. But what happened that afternoon was something they never expected. One man's choice to look past cruelty, to recognize pain because he'd lived it himself, turned their ugly joke into the most beautiful beginning. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments where in the world are you watching from. We love seeing how far these stories travel. The afternoon sun streamed through the big windows of Riverlight Cafe, catching on the hanging plants and casting soft shadows across the wooden tables. Ethan Cole walked in right at 2 p.m. The place smelled like fresh coffee and cinnamon, and soft acoustic music floated from the speakers. Ethan chose a table facing the door, his leg bouncing under the table in time with his racing heartbeat. For years, it had been for years, since he'd done anything like this. He checked his phone. 11:07 p.m. across the cafe, half hidden behind unfolded newspapers that looked weirdly old school for 2019, sat Brad Turner and Tyler Green. Ethan noticed them, but shrugged it off. Denver wasn't huge. Running into coworkers on the weekend wasn't unheard of. At 2:05, the door opened. Lily Parker stepped inside, her brown hair pulled into a neat bun, wearing a dress she'd probably changed out of twice before finally leaving her apartment. Ethan recognized her immediately. Elevator rides, passing in the hallway, a small nod in the break room, quick glances across the shared office kitchen. Her eyes swept the cafe with a mix of hope and fragile anxiety. When she spotted Ethan waving, something moved across her face. Relief, confusion, fear. She walked over slowly, clutching her purse like a shield. "Ethan," she said softly, her voice uncertain. "It's nice to officially meet you." Ethan stood up right away and pulled out her chair. "Please, sit. Thank you for agreeing to meet me." She sat down, and up close he could see the tension in her shoulders, the way her hands trembled a little as she set her purse down. "I was surprised when I heard you'd asked about me," she said. "We've never really talked before." Something in her tones set off a quiet alarm in him. "Asked about you?" Ethan leaned in slightly. "Lily, I'm going to be honest with you. Brad and Tyler set this up." He took a breath. "They told me they had a friend who might want to grab coffee. They didn't say it was you specifically, though I'm glad it is." He watched her reaction in real time. The way the words hit, the way understanding slowly formed in her eyes. Her gaze shifted toward the corner where Brad and Tyler sat, their phones angled just right. The color drained from her face. "Oh." The word came out small and cracked. "Oh, I get it. They set this up as some kind of joke, didn't they?" Her eyes filled with tears, and her voice dropped to barely a whisper. "Because of how I look." In the corner, Brad elbowed Tyler. Tyler adjusted his grip on his phone, lining up the shot. This was it, the moment they were waiting for. The awkward rejection, the humiliation, the content they'd brag about over beers and in group chats. But Ethan wasn't feeling embarrassed. He felt angry. White-hot, protective anger. The kind that shows up when you've seen this kind of cruelty before. The casual way some people turn someone else's insecurities into entertainment. The way they decide who's worthy and who isn't, like it's some kind of game. He'd been judged enough times in his life to recognize it instantly. "Lily," he said, his voice calm but firm. "Look at me, please." She lifted her eyes, tears threatening to spill over. "Those guys," Ethan said, without glancing at the corner. "They're idiots, and I'm really sorry they put you in this position. But I want you to know something." He took a breath. "When I agreed to this coffee date, I was terrified. I haven't been on a date in 4 years. And when I saw you walk in, do you know what my first thought was?" She shook her head, a tear sliding down her cheek. "I thought, she has kind eyes." He let that hang in the air for a second. "My second thought was, she looks like someone who'd be patient with a guy who doesn't know what he's doing." A tiny laugh slipped through her tears. "And my third thought was," he added, "I really hope I didn't wear the wrong thing." She laughed a little more, this time small, but real. Ethan glanced toward the corner briefly, then back at Lily. When he spoke again, his voice carried the weight of his own story. "I'm a single dad," he said. "My daughter's 6. She's my entire world. 4 years ago, my wife walked out. She just left. One morning there was a note on the kitchen counter that said she couldn't do this anymore. He swallowed. 3 months later, I got divorce papers forwarded from California, where she'd moved for a new job. Lily's tears slowed. Her expression shifted from hurt to understanding. When that happened, Ethan continued, people made assumptions. Some figured I must have been a bad husband. Others were sure there was no way I could raise a little girl on my own. He paused, jaw tightening. I'd overhear the comments at work. Poor guy, like I was damaged. Or worse, I wonder what he did to make her leave. He took a slow breath. So I learned something important. Lily, the only opinions that matter are from people who actually take the time to know who you are. And right now, he nodded toward the corner without looking. Those two in the corner, their opinions are worth exactly nothing. Lily sniffed, wiping her eyes with a napkin. I'm sorry about your wife, she said quietly. That must have been incredibly hard. Thank you, Ethan said, leaning back a bit to give her space. And I'm sorry about today, about the way you got dragged into whatever game they thought they were playing. He smiled then, really smiled, and it transformed his tired face into something warm and open. But here's the thing, we're already here. We both took time out of our Saturday. He held her gaze, and I would really like to have coffee with you, if you want to stay, not because of them, not because of some setup, just because I genuinely want to get to know you. No pressure, no expectations, just two people who could probably both use a friend. It felt like the whole cafe paused for a moment. In the corner, Brad's smug grin started to fade. This wasn't going the way he'd planned. Tyler shifted in his seat, suddenly aware that other customers were watching him, that their phones and newspapers weren't nearly as subtle as they thought. Lily looked at Ethan for a long time. He could see her weighing at the risk of staying, the fear of being hurt again, the choice between walking out and giving someone a chance, but he could also see something else in her eyes. Hope, fragile, wobbly hope that had been stepped on before but refused to die. Finally, Lily smiled, a real smile that lit up her face. Okay, she said softly. Yes, I'd like that. And Ethan, her eyes met his. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for giving me a chance. They ordered coffee, a caramel latte for Lily, black coffee for Ethan and a plate of cranberry scones to share. The conversation that followed was easier than either of them expected. Despite the messy, awkward beginning, they fell into a rhythm that felt strangely natural. So, accounting, Ethan said at one point. How'd you end up in that world? Lily's face brightened, the way it does when someone finally asks about something you genuinely care about. I love numbers, she said. They're predictable, they're reliable, they always add up the way they're supposed to. She smiled sadly. Unlike people, Ethan echoed, hearing the weight behind her words. I've been at the company for 7 years, she went on. Started in data entry, worked my way up to vendor relationships and invoice processing. It's not flashy, but there's something really satisfying about making everything balance, about finding that one little discrepancy and figuring out where it came from. Like solving a puzzle, Ethan said. Exactly. Lily leaned forward, animated. Every month is a new puzzle, and when everything reconciles, when the numbers finally line up, it's this little moment of peace. Ethan found himself genuinely interested. What made you want to work with numbers in the first place? He asked. Her smile faded a little. In high school, I wasn't exactly popular, she said. I spent a lot of time in the library. That's where I figured out I was really good at math. It was the one thing I could control. The one thing that didn't judge me based on how I looked. She stared into her coffee. 2 + 2 is always 4, whether you're pretty or not. The honesty hit Ethan hard. He set his cup down. For what it's worth, he said quietly, I think you're beautiful. But more than that, I think people who judge books by their covers miss out on the best stories. Her eyes filled with tears again, but this time they were different. Tell me about your daughter, Lily asked gently. What's her name? Mia, Ethan said, and his whole face softened. She's 6. She's everything. This morning I took her to ballet class. She's the smallest one there, but she makes up for it with enthusiasm. She spins in the wrong direction half the time, but she does it with full confidence. Lily laughed. She sounds adorable. She has these cute mispronunciations, Ethan chuckled. She calls spaghetti pastetti and asks for animal crackers at snack time. Yesterday she told me she wants to be an animal doctor when she grows up because our neighbor's cat had kittens. He smiled at the memory. She has a tea party every Sunday afternoon with her stuffed animals. Each one has a different voice, and they have long conversations about good manners. Does she know you're here today? Lily asked. Yeah. Ethan nodded. I dropped her off at my mum's house before I came here. We have a tradition Pinky promises for anything important. Before I left, she made me promise to pick her up after and get ice cream. He glanced at his watch, surprised to see how much time had passed. I should probably text my mum and let her know I'm running a little late, he said. Don't let me keep you if you need to go, Lily said quickly. It's fine, Ethan smiled. My mom loves spending time with her. I just don't want to be rude. He sent a quick text and put his phone away. So what about you? He asked. What do you do outside of work besides accounting magic? Lily smiled again. I bake, she said. Mostly elaborate cakes. I taught myself through online videos and a lot of messed up attempts. Last month I made a castle cake for my niece's birthday. 4 tiers, fondant towers, the whole thing. Took me all weekend, but when she saw it, she trailed off, eyes soft with the memory. That look on her face made it worth everything. That's incredible, Ethan said. I can barely handle box mix brownies without burning them. It's all about patience and following instructions, Lily said. Kind of like raising a kid, I'd imagine. If only Mia came with instructions, Ethan laughed. Half the time I feel like I'm making it up as I go. Last week she asked why the sky is blue, and I launched into this whole explanation about light and the atmosphere. She listened very seriously, then said, Daddy, I think it's blue because that's its favorite color. Smart kid, Lily smiled. Too smart, Ethan said. Sometimes she asks questions I don't have answers for. He hesitated, like why her mom left. That's the one I still don't know how to explain. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, Lily said gently. No, it's okay, Ethan replied. It's part of who I am now. He drew in a breath. Mia was 2 when my wife left. I came home from work one day, and there was a note on the counter. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. That was it. She packed while I was at work, and while Mia was at daycare. She didn't say goodbye to either of us. That's awful, Lily said softly. The first year was the hardest, Ethan went on. Mia kept asking when Mummy was coming home. How do you tell a 2-year-old that Mummy chose to leave? That she chose something else over you? He blinked away the sting in his eyes. Eventually she stopped asking. Now she barely remembers her. Sometimes that feels like a blessing. Other times it breaks my heart all over again. Lily reached across the table, resting her hand on his. You're a good father, she said. Anyone can tell by the way you talk about her. Some people would have turned cold, bitter, but you didn't. I had to be better for her, Ethan said quietly. She deserved a parent who chose her, who showed up every single day. I'm not perfect. I burn dinner. I forget permission slips, and I still don't know how to do a proper French braid. But I'm there, and I hope that counts for something. It counts for everything, Lily said. They didn't notice how much time passed after that. Other customers came and went. The afternoon sun shifted into a golden glow, making the whole cafe feel like a scene out of a movie. At some point, Brad and Tyler slipped out. Their prank had completely backfired. Their phones were full of footage they'd never be able to mock without exposing themselves. Ethan and Lily were too deep in conversation to care. Lily told him about her love of mystery novels, how she'd read every Agatha Christie book twice, about her apartment overflowing with plants she talked to while she baked, about her sister's 3 kids who called her Aunt Lils and fought over who got to help decorate cakes. Ethan shared more stories of single fatherhood, how Mia's teacher once called because she'd decided to give free hugs to anyone who looked sad, and how he'd been embarrassed but secretly proud, how she'd shown up to school one morning in a tutu, rain boots, and a superhero cape and refused to change because, this is my power outfit. Daddy, she sounds like she has such a big heart, Lily said. The biggest, Ethan replied. Sometimes I worry the world will crush it, but then I think maybe that's what the world needs. More people like her. As the cafe began to empty and the barista started wiping down tables, Ethan realized something. He didn't want this to end. Not yet, maybe not ever. Lily, he said, his voice a little nervous again. Would you want to do this again? Maybe next time we actually get dinner. Hope spread across Lily's face. I'd really like that, Ethan, she said. A lot. And someday, he added gently, when the time feels right, I'd like you to meet Mia, if you'd be okay with that. I'd be honored, Lily replied. They exchanged numbers, phones fumbling slightly. saving each other's contact info. As they stepped out of Riverlight Calf into the cool evening air, Ethan felt something he hadn't felt in 4 years. Hope. Not desperate hope. Steady, quiet hope that whispers, maybe, just maybe, good things are still possible. Monday morning hit like a freight train. Ethan walked into the office, coffee in hand, bracing himself for the fallout from Saturday. He didn't have to wait long. Brad and Tyler were already at their desks, but something was different. No smirks, no jokes, no snide comments. They kept their heads down, avoiding eye contact. The usual morning banter was gone. By 10 a.m., whispers had made their way around the entire office. Several co-workers had been at Riverlight Calf that Saturday. They saw the setup. They watched Ethan's response. They saw the cruel joke turn into something else entirely. And unlike Brad and Tyler, those co-workers had their own phones, and Instagram, and Facebook, and Twitter. By lunchtime, Ms. Ramirez, their no-nonsense manager in her 50s, called Brad and Tyler into her office. Ethan was reviewing shipping manifests when he heard raised voices through the closed door. Ms. Ramirez's tone carried a very clear message. She was not impressed. 20 minutes later, Brad and Tyler walked out looking pale. Ethan, Ms. Ramirez called from her doorway. "Can I see you for a minute?" Ethan set down his coffee and stepped into her office. "Close the door, please," she said, gesturing to a chair. She folded her hands. "I want to apologize," she began. "I encouraged you to go on that date last week without knowing what those two idiots were planning. I've since learned about the prank. It's okay," Ethan said. "Honestly, it turned out it's not okay," she cut in firmly. "What they did was harassment, not just toward you, but toward Ms. Parker in accounting. I've talked to HR, effective immediately. Both Brad Turner and Tyler Green are being reassigned to different teams. They'll also have formal warnings in their files." Ethan blinked, surprised. "I appreciate that," he said. "But honestly, I'm not upset. If anything, I'm grateful. That date was the best thing that's happened to me in years." Ms. Ramirez's expression softened. "I'm glad something good came from it," she said. "But that doesn't excuse their behavior. Sometimes the right thing happens despite people's worst intentions, not because of them." Ethan smiled faintly. "That's a really good point. Now get back to work," she said, returning to her usual tone. "Those manifests aren't going to review themselves." 2 weeks later, Ethan and Lily had their second date, this time at a cozy Italian restaurant downtown. And this time, Mia came to. Ethan had spent an hour trying to explain it to his daughter beforehand. "So there's someone from Daddy's work coming to dinner," he'd told her. "Her name is Miss Lily. She's my friend, a really good friend, and it'd mean a lot to me if you'd be on your best behavior." Mia had listened seriously, then tilted her head. "Is Miss Lily your girlfriend?" she asked. "We're friends," Ethan said carefully. "Good friends, and I'd really like you to meet her." "Does she like Poschetti?" Mia asked. "I don't know," he smiled. "We'll have to ask her." Now, sitting in a booth at Mama Rosa's, Ethan watched as Lily and Mia met for the first time. Lily had arrived early. A little nervous, Mia burst through the front door like a tiny tornado, backpack bouncing, pigtails slightly crooked, talking before she even reached the table. "Miss Lily," she said in one breath, "Daddy says you work with numbers and make really good cakes. I like cake. Last birthday I had a princess cake with pink flowers, but next birthday, I want a unicorn cake with rainbow colors and maybe glitter if that's okay." Lily laughed, delighted. "A unicorn cake sounds perfect," she said. "What color should the main be?" "Purple." "No, blue." "No, wait, all the colors." "All the colors it is." Lily smiled. They ordered dinner: spaghetti for Mia, chicken Alfredo for Lily, lasagna for Ethan. Mia talked non-stop. She told Lily all about ballet class, complete with 12 demonstrations that nearly knocked over a water glass. She explained her theory that grass is green because it would be too silly if it had polka dots. She asked Lily about baking, firing off question after question. Favorite cake, favorite frosting, favorite sprinkles. Lily listened to every single word. She didn't talk down to her. She didn't tune her out. She asked follow-up questions. She laughed at Mia's jokes. She made her feel important. After Mia went to the bathroom with a nearby server, keeping an eye out, Lily turned back to Ethan. "She's wonderful," Lily said. "Absolutely wonderful." "She likes you," Ethan replied. "I can tell." "How can you tell?" Lily asked. "She's already planning your next conversation." He smiled. That's her thing. When she likes someone, she starts making plans. His expression turned more serious. She also hasn't mentioned her mum once, he added. Usually when she meets new women, she gets quiet. With you, she's just herself. Lily swallowed, emotion in her eyes. That's the best compliment I could ask for, she said. 3 months into dating, Lily came to Mia's dance recital. She sat between Ethan and his mum, Susan, as a cluster of 6-year-olds in pink tutus performed to Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Mia was in the second row, her light brown pigtails bouncing with every step. She nailed each move, until the last pose, when she wobbled a little, then recovered with so much determination the audience burst into applause. Lily was on her feet before the music even stopped, clapping so hard her hands turned red. Afterward, Mia ran to them, cheeks flushed. Did you see my jumps? And my big twirl? She asked. You were magnificent, Ethan said. Mag-nih-fuh-sent. Mia repeated carefully, practicing the new word. That means absolutely wonderful, Lily explained, kneeling down to her level. You worked so hard and it showed. I'm so proud of you. Mia threw her arms around Lily's neck in a tight hug. Over Mia's shoulder, Ethan met Lily's eyes. There were tears in them, happy ones. For Mia's 7th birthday in November, Lily went all out. She spent an entire weekend making an elaborate unicorn cake for Tears, a fondant mane in every color, edible glitter that shimmered under the lights, and a chocolate horn wrapped in gold dot. When Mia saw it, she screamed, the kind of pure, joyful scream that makes every adult in the room both laugh and cover their ears. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, Mia breathed. Miss Lily, you're magic. Not magic, Lily smiled. Just practice, and a lot of love. Can we take a picture with it before we cut it? Mia asked. I want to remember it forever. They took at least 30. Mia with the cake from every angle. Mia and Lily together, Ethan joining them. Group shots with all the kids. The cake was almost too pretty to eat. Almost. Winter came with snow and new traditions. Lily started joining Ethan and Mia for Saturday pancake breakfasts. She took them to the park and taught Mia how to spot different birds: cardinals, blue jays, robins. They built snowmen in Ethan's small backyard, complete with carrot noses and crooked smiles. One quiet February night, after Mia went to bed, Ethan and Lily sat on his couch, hands wrapped around mugs of hot chocolate. She asked me something today, Lily said softly. When you were loading the dishwasher, she added. Ethan's heart picked up. What did she ask? She wanted to know if I was staying, Lily said. Not just for today. She asked if I was staying with you. With both of you. Ethan's chest tightened. What did you say? He asked. I told her I hoped so, Lily replied. I told her I care about both of you very much, and that, if you'd have me, I'd like to be part of your family. She looked at him, vulnerable, searching his face. Was that okay? She asked. I didn't want to overstep. Ethan set his mug down and took her hands in his. You're not overstepping, he said. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. He swallowed. I know we haven't been doing this forever, he said, but it feels right. You feel right with us. Lily's voice dropped to a whisper. I love her, she said. I know that might be too soon, but I do, and I love you, too. I love you, too, Ethan said, feeling the truth of it down to his bones. They kissed soft, gentle, the kind of kiss that doesn't scream fireworks, but promises something better. Tomorrow, and the next day, and the days after that. A year after that first coffee date, Ethan and Lily went back to Riverlight Cafe. Mia was at a sleepover with her best friend, Chloe, giving Ethan and Lily a rare night alone. They sat at the same table where it all began, ordered the same drinks, a caramel latte and a black coffee, and shared a plate of cranberry scones. Do you ever think about that day? Lily asked, stirring her latte. About how awful it could have been. I do, Ethan said, but mostly I think about how close I came to missing out on the best thing that ever happened to me. He smiled. Well, second best. Mia still has the top spot, as she should. Lily laughed. But you know what I think about most? Ethan continued, his tone turning serious. Those guys thought they were teaching us to know our place. He said, they wanted to prove that people like you and me should keep our expectations low. They wanted to make us the punchline. He squeezed her hand. But what they actually did was give to people who deserved happiness a chance to find it. They thought they were exposing something ugly. Instead, they revealed something beautiful. That kindness is stronger than cruelty. And truly seeing someone, really seeing them, can change everything. Tears glimmered in Lily's eyes, but they were tears of joy. You know what Mia told me yesterday? She asked. Well, she said, Miss Lily, you're not just Daddy's girlfriend anymore. You're my bonus mom. Lily laughed softly. She learned that term from a book at school about different kinds of families. Ethan felt his own eyes sting. What did you say? He asked. I told her that was the greatest honor anyone's ever given me, Lily said. Because it is. She's my bonus daughter. You're both my family now. The family I never thought I'd have. The words were still hanging between them when Ethan spoke. Will you marry me? It came out before he'd planned it. No ring in his pocket, no rehearsed speech, just a question that suddenly felt impossible not to ask. Sitting in the same cafe where everything started, looking at the woman who had changed his life and his daughter's life, it felt like the only thing that made sense. Lily's tears spilled over. Yes, she said. Yes, absolutely yes. They leaned across the table and kissed, both of them laughing and crying at the same time. Other people in the cafe watched, some smiling, some wondering what had just happened. When they finally pulled apart, Lily wiped her eyes. We should probably call Mia, she said. She's going to want to know. She's going to lose her mind. Ethan grinned. He pulled out his phone and called Chloe's mum. A moment later, Mia's excited voice came through the speaker. Daddy, is everything okay? Did you eat good dinner? She asked. Everything's perfect, sweetheart, Ethan said. Miss Lily and I have some news. We want to tell you together, okay? He set the phone on the table between them and hit speaker. Hi, Mia, Lily said, her voice thick with emotion. Your daddy just asked me a really important question. What question? Mia gasped. Was it about cake? Are you going to make him another cake? They both laughed. Not about cake, honey, Lily said. He asked me to marry him, to be part of your family, officially. There was a beat of silence on the other end. Then does that mean you'll live with us forever and ever? Mia blurted out. Like, for always. If that's okay with you, Lily said gently. I know it's a big change. Are you kidding? Mia squealed. That's the best news ever. Chloe, guess what? My bonus mummy is gonna be my real mummy, too. Well, my other real mummy. I have the most mummies of anyone. They could hear chaos and excited shrieks in the background. Chloe's mom eventually came back on the line, laughing. I'm guessing congratulations are in order, she said. They are, Ethan replied, smiling so hard his cheeks hurt. And thank you for watching her tonight. Anytime, she said. Though I should warn you, I doubt either of them sleeps tonight. After the call ended, Ethan and Lily sat in comfortable silence, watching the river move outside the cafe windows. The sky was streaked with pink and orange. A year ago, Lily said quietly, I walked through that door expecting to be humiliated. I thought I'd end up as the punchline of a cruel joke. She leaned into him. Instead, she said, I found home. We both did, Ethan replied, kissing the top of her head. 6 months later, on a sunny May afternoon, Ethan and Lily got married in a small park by the river. Mia was the flower girl and took her job very seriously. She counted each petal as she dropped it along the aisle. She wore a white dress with glitter and insisted on her favorite sneakers underneath. Just in case we need to run. The guest list was small. Ethan's mum, Lily's sister and her family, a few close friends from work, some neighbors who'd watched their story unfold over the last year and a half. When Lily walked down the aisle, Mia whispered loudly, Daddy, she looks like a princess. She does, sweetheart, Ethan said, his voice thick. She absolutely does. They wrote their own vows. Lily promised to always save Mia the biggest piece of cake, to show up at every dance recital no matter how busy life got, and to love them both through every season. Ethan promised to see Lily exactly as she was, beautiful, brilliant, irreplaceable, and to build a life where none of them ever felt invisible again. When the officiant pronounced them married, Mia cheered so loudly that birds took off from nearby trees. At the reception in a small restaurant overlooking the river, Ethan gave a toast. A wise person once told me, he said, that sometimes the right thing happens despite people's worst intentions, not because of them. He glanced at Lily, then at Mia, spinning in circles in her flower girl dress, making it flare like a tutu. My wife and I, he continued, savoring the words, are proof of that. 2 people thought they could make us feel small, but they didn't understand that kindness is stronger than cruelty, that when you choose to show up with grace, when you choose to really see someone in a world that tries to make them invisible, that's where real love begins. Lily stood and joined him. "And to everyone here," she said, "thank you for being part of our story, for believing in us, for celebrating with us." Mia tugged on Lily's dress. "Can I say something too?" she asked. "Of course, honey," Lily said. Mia climbed onto a chair so everyone could see her. "I just want to say," she began, serious and small, "that I have the best bonus mom in the whole world. She makes the best cakes. She knows all the bird names. She gives really good hugs. And I love her so much." There wasn't a dry eye in the room. As the evening wound down and fairy lights twinkled overhead, Ethan, Lily, and Mia wandered down to the riverbank, the same river that had flowed past Riverlight Calf that day. A cruel joke turned into something else entirely. "Are you happy, Daddy?" Mia asked, holding both their hands. "Happier than I've ever been, Pumpkin," he answered. "Me too," she grinned. "This is the best family ever." Lily knelt down and pulled her into a hug. "You know what the best part is?" Lily said. "We chose each other. Every single one of us. That's what makes it special." Mia thought about that, then nodded. Double quotes. "Yeah," she agreed. "Choosing is important. Like when I choose chocolate ice cream instead of vanilla. It's better because I picked it." They laughed, the sound drifting over the water, mixing with the soft noise of the party behind them. Sometimes the best love stories don't start with love at first sight or grand romantic gestures. Sometimes they start with a choice to see past cruelty, to recognize pain because you felt that same ache, to offer grace in a moment where the world expects you to judge. Sometimes they start with two broken people realizing they fit together in all the right ways, with a 6-year-old girl who has room in her heart for anyone who loves her dad, with a single father who finally understands that his worth isn't defined by who walked away but by the people who choose to stay. And sometimes the best love stories start in a cafe on an ordinary Saturday afternoon, when someone decides that the only opinions that matter are the ones from people who take the time to know who you really are. Ethan, Lily, and Mia turned back toward their celebration, hand in hand, a family that was never supposed to exist, at least not according to the cruel eyes watching from a corner table, but existed anyway, beautiful, imperfect, completely real, because at the end of the day, that's what love really is: choosing to show up, choosing to stay, choosing to see someone exactly as they are, and deciding that they are more than enough.